काञ्चनशलाकया चक्षुर उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Hare Krishna. Continuation of reading Japa book. Picture the mind as a projector projecting on smoke. What will we see? Perhaps we will make out the form of a tiger or a train racing toward a car or someone of the opposite sex. But smoke has no substance. Similarly, none of the mind's imagery, no matter how intensely the mind presents it, has substance. Again, by assigning it the simplest of tasks, chant one Maha Mantra and listen to it. If we make the task complicated, if we try to chant all our rounds at once, then we will be forced to plan how to accomplish it. How will we listen to so many mantras at once? How will we remain attentive through so many mantras? The mind will demand answers and the intelligence will be forced to supply them. Soon the mode of passion will carry us away. The mind is not to be trusted. Maharaj Parikshit asked Sukadeva Goswami an important question. Why did not Rishabdev use his mystic powers even for the good of others? After all, Rishabdev is the supreme personality of Godhead. He cannot be bewildered by Maya or deviated from the devotional path the way Jivas can. Sukadeva responds, My dear king, you have spoken correctly. However, after capturing animals, a cunning hunter does not put faith in them, for they might run away. Similarly, those who are advanced in spiritual life do not put faith in the mind. Indeed, they always remain vigilant and watch the mind's actions. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.6.2. It is dangerous to let the mind run wild. All the learned scholars agree. The mind is by nature restless and we should not make friends with it. If we place our full trust in the mind, it can cheat us at any moment. Even Lord Shiva, the great ecstatic, was sexually agitated when he saw Lord Vishnu's Mohini Murti form, and Saubhari Muni fell down from his mature stage of yogic perfection after watching fish copulate. Sukadeva Goswami continues, an unchaste woman is very easily carried away by a paramour, and it sometimes happens that her husband is violently killed by her paramours. If the yogi gives his mind a chance and does not restrain it, his mind will give facility to enemies like lust, anger, and greed, and they will doubtlessly kill the yogi. The mind is the root cause of lust, anger, pride, greed, lamentation, illusion, and fear. Combined, these constitute bondage to fruitive activities. What learned man would put faith in mind? Srimad Bhagavatam 5.6.45. In his purport, Srila Prabhupada asserts that the mind is the original cause of material bondage. These are not the sweet instructions most of us long for. In fact, they may fill us with fear, yet they are vital to our Krishna consciousness. It is imperative that we understand the reality of our precarious situation in this world. Fortunately, Srila Prabhupada provides a solution. Always engage the mind in Krishna consciousness. Don't trust it, neglect it, especially while you are chanting japa, and engage it simply in hearing the mantra. But a problem arises. They say what we resist persists. Therefore, we may require some additional techniques for controlling the mind. The mind as a taster of mundane rasa. The truth is that unless we have something spiritually relishable on which to focus the mind will not stay controlled. Determination is rarely enough. The mind wants to taste. In its mundane form, it relishes the material emotion evoked by the world's dualities. When we think of pleasant things, our family or friends, for example, we feel the heart, the seat of mind's emotion, expand. When we think of unpleasant things, our enemies or a trauma, the heart contracts. This expansion and contraction is actually the mind tasting emotion. We tend to think that the mind wishes to taste only the sweetness of friendship or success, but it tastes negativity with equal vigor. Each side of a duality creates an opposite but equally powerful feeling. Because the mind wants to taste both poles, it will drag us from pleasure to pain and back again. If we think we can focus only on positive emotion, we are deluding ourselves. This is the relative world. Everything that creates positive emotion has its counterpart in the negative. There is no meaning to friend without enemy. Traveling between dualities is how the mind keeps us engaged in materialism, forcing us to remain in the cycle of repeated birth and death. Although we want to taste the pleasure of friendship without tasting the pain of enmity, to taste the pleasure of success without the misery of failure, to taste love without hate, we are unable. Still, we become bound by the desire and by our attachment to emotional experience. In this world, every emotion can only be defined against its opposite. The mind can literally keep us engaged forever in the struggle between dualities. If only those of us who are getting older can see that as we age, we lose some of our power to engage in material activities. We were once more physically active, but now our knees are weak and our shoulders hurt. Our teeth are beginning to fall out and our vision is blurred. Our bodily parts are gradually or quickly breaking down. Seeing young people running or doing any of the things we can no longer do reminds us of our youth. We think, if only I could run again. The mind grabs such thoughts and imagines them, and immediately a seed of desire is planted that will fructify in the next life. Yes, it then becomes likely that we will run again. What have we missed out in this life? We seen others possess that we wanted intensely but lacked beauty, strength, wealth, knowledge, success. What color hair have you always wished you had? Have you envied and longed for the fame others have enjoyed? Do you desire to have your coffers overflowing with money, a more beautiful and affectionate spouse? If only I had been more intelligent, or if only I had a better memory, or if only I was taller, or shorter, or more handsome, or had straighter or more curly hair, what do we still wish to taste? People accept these mental fluctuations and embrace them, thinking, I could have been happy if only. These fanciful, dreamy thoughts are neither innocent nor harmless. Rather, as hopeful desires in the mind, they are the fixed thoughts that carry us from birth to birth to birth, an endless future of aimless wandering. So I stop here for today's reading and just have a summary conclusion. A beautifully description of the mind activities in detail has been given by the author, which helps us to understand how the mind acts and keeps us deluded from life to life. So, um, as there is one quotation from Amruta Bindu Ishopanishad, I guess, Man eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. That means, as the mind, so the individual. The bondage or liberation are in the mind. In other words, as you think, so you become. So if you think well, you become well, and if you think ill, you will become ill. The mind is that powerful. It's very nicely explained how the mind keeps all of us engaged in the dualities characteristics of this material world. If we are deluded, if we think that we are only wanting for the happiness and we only crave for the positive things, that means we are really deluded by the mind, because the mind activity is not only to experience the positive things, it also wants to equally experience the negative, the counterpart effects, that is the negative things. So we have been kicked from one court to other court in the football game, like for the opposite goal to the next opposite goal. that means between the positives and negatives. Yet we think that we are going to get happiness and want to stay. It's very clearly mentioned that the heart expands when we experience a positive feelings, and it contracts when we experience the negative feelings. So actually, if it is both the actions taking place equally so that we keep going. Imagine just like if a heart keeps expanding and there is no contraction, just like a balloon being kept forced into air and keeps expanding and expanding. And at one point, the balloon explodes. Similarly, if we keep only experiencing the positiveness and do not want to experience the negative emotions, then as the heart expands when we have positive feelings, 100% there's a point like the heart may explode. So it's the materialistic way of balancing how the mind keeps us tossing us between positive and negative. So understanding this nature, I think we should not trust the mind and never make friendship with the mind. And as we chant each mantra, we should focus and bring the mind to the attention of mantra.